Okay, NAL Playdate number 7 predictions. Things are kind of coming down to the wire here. A lot of these games are going to determine who goes to the major, especially when the teams that are in the top positions, like the top 6 say, play each other. And so games on the day that are extremely important, I guess, in that regard. The only one where both teams are in that top 6, I suppose, is Dark Zero versus Xset, but Oxygen, really wants to get points against Sonics because most other teams have. Space Station really wants to win against Parabellum. Beast Coast really wants to win against TSM. They are the 6th place team, so they're probably the lowest down team that has a good chance to still go to the major. And then certainly Astralis wants to beat Mirage. But in the coming days, Dark Zero versus Oxygen is probably really important. Astralis versus Xset's really important. Dark Zero versus Space Station, and Oxygen versus Xset, and then I guess also probably Astralis versus Beast Coast. If Beast Coast does poorly in these 2 days, or I guess, if any of these teams that need to qualify go 0-2 in days 7 and 8, probably their day 9 won't be important for them. They probably will be out of qualification position, but we don't know for sure. Anyways, okay, back to day 7, and I guess we'll go even back to day 6. Let's talk about who I predicted, what I got right. I went with Xset over Mirage. That was correct. Oxygen over Parabellum was correct. That one is very close, though. Almost went the other way. I predicted Space Station over Beast Coast, but I got that one wrong. I predicted Astralis over TSM, got that one right, and I predicted Sonics over Dark Zero, and I got that one wrong. I felt like this was the only, not Hail Mary, but the only one where I predicted the team that was less likely to win, and well, I suffered for it. So at any given point, it looked like Sonics might win up until that 3-round streak at the end. It was fairly neck and neck, circumstantially, but okay, those were the predictions. I only got 3 out of 5, so not amazing. I think my predictions are right around 60%, but I don't know off the top of my head what they are. Okay, back to day 7. So starting with Mirage and Astralis. Yeah, Mirage clearly the weakest team at the moment in the league, and Astralis one of the strongest. Maybe after today they'll be the strongest, depending if they have a really good game against Mirage, and Oxygen has a maybe even not a bad game versus Sonics, but if they have like a middling performance, that might be enough to push Astralis to the top of the standings, maybe even the top of the power rankings. I think this is a clear Astralis pick. It's going to be massively in their favor, and it would be a massive upset for Mirage to defeat them, so I'm rocking with Astralis here. TSM versus Beast Coast. TSM is still sort of latent in their potential. Everyone's still waiting for them to wake up, but they continue to look not very good this stage for whatever reason, and we've sort of explored a little bit what the possibilities could be before, but I don't really want to go over them again. Beast Coast is playing for everything. I mean, if they lose any of these, they might not make it. They might need to win all 3. I think if they do win all 3, they will make it, and maybe if they win 2, they'll make it, but so they really need to be getting these points on the board, and they'll probably win versus Mirage, so they really need to win against either TSM and Astralis, and at this point it looks like the win against TSM will be easier. I'm going to go with Beast Coast, again, because they are playing for a lot, and TSM is basically out of the running. They haven't been good this stage, and now they don't really have anything to play for. Technically, they still could make the major, but it's extremely unlikely. So I'm just going to go with Beast Coast here on the back of, I mean, they've played pretty well, much better than TSM that has this stage, and they have so much more to lose by losing this game. Dark Zero versus, or Xset rather. This is probably the game of the day, the most important game of the day, in that both teams are playing for quite a lot. Whoever loses this is going to be in a bad position. They are both tied on points right now. So whoever wins will be 3 points ahead of the other, assuming they win in regulation. And they'll also have the head-to-head not mattering nearly as much this stage as it did in the past. And I actually did a little bit of a breakdown showing showing which maps these guys played, and I'm going to show that really quickly. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to go over all this stuff, so let me just pull it up. Okay, so over here, and I guess I'll zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, yeah, over here are the results of the games that they played. Here's Dark Zero, here's Xset, and here are the maps that they played and the team that they played against. And so like 7-3 they beat Mirage, 4-7 they lost to Parabellum, so on and so forth. These are the maps that they've banned, not against any specific team, but overall, so they can ban up to 6 times. DZ has banned Skyscraper every time, and Xset and Dark Zero has also banned every map at least once. Xset hasn't banned Bank or Oregon at all. And then these are sort of my predictions for who will ban what, and based on this, I sort of predict Bank to be the map that they play on. I think it could also maybe be Club. It depends who gets the last choice. So, okay. A few things to consider here, the teams that each one played against, and okay, I'll go back to the other graphic for that, but so let me just go over this really quickly. Oregon, Chalet, Skyscraper, Villa, so these are the maps I think Dark Zero will probably ban, and again, it also depends who bans first. Some of the, maybe one of these maps Xset wants to ban, so Oregon, Xset has been really good on it, Dark Zero not so good. This is the map that Xset 7-0'd Sonics, and Dark Zero just lost this, so not only have they shown it, their opponents can see their strats, but they did lose it, so probably they don't want to play on this. Xset is 1-on-1 on Chalet, but their most recent victory was very dominant and against Parabellum, a very good Chalet team, so I think Dark Zero doesn't want to take them there. Also, they banned it 3 times. Skyscraper, this is Dark Zero's permaban, so unless they're saving it for this occasion, they're probably going to continue to ban it. And then Dark Zero, they've been shaky on Villa with 1 victory in round 15 against Beast Coast and then a loss against Parabellum, whereas Xset has a solid victory on it against Mirage. It is Mirage, but still 7-2. So maybe Dark Zero doesn't want to play there. Their opponents have more VOD of them on it, and also they've shown that they can play it, that Xset that is, so I don't think Dark Zero will want to play Villa. And then Xset Cafe, almost permabanned, only 1 time not banned by them, but not played by them. And then Border, Dark Zero just played it, and so it's pretty recent, so maybe they haven't had time to effectively VOD review it, but also is a win, and I guess 3 bans of it by Xset, so I don't think they're playing Border. Theme Park, right, we've seen Dark Zero play it against TSM, and we've seen 5 bans of it by Xset, so maybe one of those 2 maps, this one or Cafe, Xset will want to surprise them with. We'll see, but you know, it sort of seems like they'll probably ban it out. And then Clubhouse, neither of these teams have played it, but neither of these teams have banned it that many times, only twice each. So maybe that'll be the final playing ground. But I feel like if it does come down to Bank and Clubhouse and Xset has the choice, they'll want to go with Bank. A less strategic team overall, I would think, would want to go to Bank, as maybe a little bit less strategic map than Clubhouse, and also neither have played on it. And I think that also favors Xset, again, as a newer and less strategic team. I would think that they would want to play on a map where each team has seen each other play on it, rather than a map that neither team has seen each other play on it. Dark Zero would probably be better in terms of coming up with strats for themselves on the map, even without having seen Xset played on it, and so I think Bank is the better choice. But if Dark Zero has the final choice and it comes down to these 2, I think they might go to Clubhouse, and that might favor Dark Zero. Okay, let's go back to the other thing now. All right, so we're back here once again, and I guess really quickly, let me just compare some of their results, I guess, Dark Zero versus Xset. So in the first week, Xset lost to Space Station, and they lost to TSM. They haven't lost since then, so they've been really hot, so that's definitely a point for Xset. Dark Zero, much more shaky. I don't think they've had any super good wins. Their best win was on the first Playday against Mirage, and once again, Mirage not looking like that good of a team at the moment, so not the most impressive of wins. And so comparing some of the teams that each of them have played, they both played against Parabellum. Dark Zero lost against them, and Xset beat them very convincingly on their best map, 7-1. So that's another point for Xset. They've also both played against the Sonics, and Xset 7-0'd them, whereas Dark Zero also beat them, but it was a 7-4, so less close. Sonics have, I think, woken up a little bit since earlier in the season. They were sort of at their lowest point when they did get 7-0'd by Xset. And so maybe if Dark Zero had played them earlier in the stage, then it would have been a more decisive victory, but still 4 rounds difference is pretty big. And so I think there's even a few more points of comparison, but for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to cut it off there. And I think this is fairly close, 50-50-ish matchup, but I do think Xset has the upper hand given the whole map situation, given the teams that they've played before, given their win streak, all of this stuff. And so I'm going to go with Xset. They're on the same number of points, so they've performed similarly. Xset does have that better round differential, meaning they've had either less bad losses or more decisive wins, or a combination of the 2. And yeah, all these factors I think point to Xset, but this one could go either way. I initially almost wanted to go with Dark Zero, but I think my intuition a lot of the time just wants me to pick upsets when they are only slight upsets. Like if I think it's 55-45, a lot of time I want to pick the 45 team just to go against the grain a little bit, but I'll go with Xset here. Okay, moving on. Sonics versus Oxygen. This looked like it was going to be a really good match at the beginning of the stage, but at this point, with Oxygen being on top of the standings and Sonics being, 9th place, I guess, tied at the bottom in terms of points, yeah, this seems like it's going to be Oxygen through and through. Maybe Sonics have received enough punishment and they've figured things out enough, and they've seen Oxygen show enough weakness, whatever. Maybe they'll be able to win, but it looks like it's probably just going to be an Oxygen victory based on everything we've seen this stage. So I'll go with Oxygen. And then finally, Space Station versus Parabellum. If this had happened maybe a couple days ago, this could be more of an evenish matchup, but at this point, it looks like probably Space Station will beat Parabellum. Parabellum has shown that they can upset some teams. They did take down Dark Zero back in Playday number 3. They narrowly lost to Beast Coast. What else did they do? They beat the Sonics, I suppose, just like everyone else has. And so they have some wins under their belts. They're only 4 points below Space Station. I think it's 11-7. So definitely there is the potential for Parabellum to win, but Space Station, I think they're probably going to kick it into really high gear. They're going to be really mad about having lost to Beast Coast in the previous week, and they can't really afford to lose to Parabellum here. And I guess Parabellum also can't afford to lose. They pretty well need to win all of these to go to the major, or at least get a lot of points on the board. So I think both teams are playing for a lot. Space Station has better odds, and I think they're just the better team at the moment. So I'll go with Space Station. So one more time going down the line, Astralis over Mirage, Beast Coast over TSM, Xset over Dark Zero, Oxygen over Sonics, and Space Station over Parabellum. And I almost picked all the guys on the right this time, which is unusual, but Space Station on the left here. So that's going to do it for my predictions. If you have any predictions of your own, let me know. I guess this video is going to go up just like right before the Playday starts, so I'm sure a lot of people won't even watch it before the actual Playday. But, you know, if you have any feedback, do let me know. And all right, I will catch you guys in the next video.